Alright YouTube, so today's video we're actually making something very special with a very special camera, and I'm not going to beat around the bush and we're just going to get right into it. The 5D Classic. Here it is, practically brand spanking new, and I am going to show you what you can actually do with it. Actually what I have done with it for the last 20 years. The other one that I shot this on is wrong side. It's this camera right over here, where my thumb is, right here. That's my other 5D Classic, which is about 20 years old now. This guy just showed up a couple of weeks ago, actually a week ago, and it only had like 10 actuations on it. It's brand spanking new. Awesome, just awesome. So what are we doing? We're gonna get right into sort of what this can actually do. So a lot of people, you know how magical the camera is. If you're watching this video, it's already caught your interest, right? So I don't have to try to sell you on what the 5D Classic is. A lot of people say, you know, color science doesn't matter. This doesn't matter, that doesn't matter. Okay, that's great. But you know what? There are certain cameras that are made over the years that truly leave a mark with you. Why? Because it was an incredible photographic tool, and it just rendered something that was different. There was just something different about what it did, right? So having said that, in the era that the 5D Classic came out, you have to understand it was a migration from the medium of film over to digital. So the companies, this camera over here is the other camera, which actually was very closely mimicked very closely to film, which was a 1D Classic. And the 1D Classic was a 4 megapixel CCD sensor. The 5D Classic came a little bit later, a couple years later, but this was full frame. That was 1.3 crop. This was full frame, 12.8 megapixels, which was unheard of at that time on getting that kind of resolution other than the 1DS, which is on this side of the coin at the end. So the 1DS was 11 megapixels, but it was very restricted into what it could shoot. Still a beautiful camera. You couldn't even shoot monochrome photos in that. It wouldn't even do it in camera. You had to do everything afterwards. It only shot in color. You didn't even have all those settings. So when the 5D Classic came out, it changed the game because it was actually full frame. It's the same frame size as a traditional 35 millimeter film negative. Whatever Canon did to this, and no, it didn't need about 10 different firmware updates. I would have been very shocked. Yeah, I don't think it even got one. Maybe got one firmware update. Update to one of the flash units that came later. That was it. We didn't get firmware updates in the DSLR world. Didn't need it. Because the camera was built right to begin with, and 20 years later, guess what? Everyone and their brother wants one of these, right? And they're seeking them out. They're pretty cheap, but to get a really, really good one, you're gonna have to pay a little bit more, which I did. I paid almost probably 2 to 3 times as much as what most people are paying on the used market for one of these that's beat up and been used quite a bit. But it's worth it to me because it brought back so many memories, right? Maybe it's not worth it for you. So what are we talking about in this video? What can this camera really do? I could have put up pictures on the screen and this and that, and some of you have already seen some of those that I've done with this. I wanted to do something different. I wanted to show you in print what the different lens combinations could actually give you if you were to have one of these cameras and what the possibility looks like. Okay, so we're gonna make it more real because, you know, photography is really nothing until you really print. I mean, otherwise it's just imagery on the screen, right? So we'll start with the lens that's actually on here right now. This is a 40 millimeter Pancake. It's a 40 millimeter 2.8 lens. Really small, dirt cheap, but it is pretty damn good even till today, right? I still see so many people that shoot those Sony XD cam like video cameras. They pop these on there because of their size, and it's an incredible lens for the money. Photographically on the 5D Classic, it's plenty to keep you busy. So let's talk about what do you get from that. So from that combination, we get that. That is a 13 by 19 print of the Grand Canyon, which I shot many years ago on the 5D Classic and the 40 millimeter. People are like, well, now why didn't you shoot it with the 16 millimeter? Because it would look like this. And the top of the canyon would not have the emphasis that it has. So when you're shooting landscapes, learn how to shoot longer lenses and learn the game. If you don't know how to, practice. If not, get a good coach and an instructor. And no, your mirrorless camera ain't gonna save you, because whatever you see is exactly what you're gonna get, right? Isn't that what they say? Go with the mirror. You're gonna be better off. You can shoot something like this in print. That was the first one. Okay? With the 40. Another one coming up with the 40. How do you do this? Wow, how do you do something like this? This is crazy. This is shot in Connecticut. Some of our friends in Connecticut would probably remember this place. I don't know who they are. That's shot on the 5D Classic with the 40 millimeter lens. This was shot at around f8. Razor sharp. Nothing wrong with it. It looks beautiful. And it's printed. So if I can print it this big, is it a problem? I don't think so. It's better than looking at that 1 inch by 1 inch on your little watch or your little phone screen trying to determine how good a camera is. Print. If you don't print, you're wasting your freaking money buying these cameras. The day you start printing and looking at what's really happening, that's when your photography is going to go to the next level. Sorry. That's another one from the 40. What else we got from the 40? That summarizes 40 for us. No more 40. 40's over. So we're going to take off the 40 off the camera and we're going to put the next lens up. Oh boy. This is a legend. And with this combination, which is the 5D Classic and the 135 f2, this is an L lens. Some time ago, quite some time ago, I shot this. This is the Jefferson Memorial in DC at midnight when it was cherry blossom. And I wonder how I lit this up. Ooh, there's something called a flash. So I still lit up the building correctly, and then I flashed the cherry blossoms to actually just showcase it. So I didn't have to do any kind of decoration or treatments later. Today, people argue that God gave you two eyes. Someone left a comment about, no difference between DSLR and mirrorless. If there was no difference, so why the hell did we even have it? There was no need, right? What did you really make better? You actually made things worse. That's a different argument. Your eye, you have two eyes. Unless you're blind and you're not able to see, I'm not being rude and disrespectful. If you're not able to see, this will make no sense. But if you're able to see, you got two eyes, just like everyone else, two eyes. Right? And we can see. God gave you an eye, actually two, for a reason. The reason is not how many eyes you got. The reason is what you do with it. There are people that see something with those eyes with bad intentions, right? I'll be blunt. They'll look at a beautiful woman and they'll have maybe some pretty crazy thoughts based on what they see. The same woman can be seen in a different light with someone else looking at it and saying, she's almost like a piece of art. Just a beautiful thing to actually see. And just a beautiful soul. Same two eyes. And two different people see two different things. Right? So a lot of people make this comment, since I have an EF, I know exactly what I'm getting. Do you? You're seeing what you want to produce out of it, which is perfectly fine. But the true artistic form, these kind of things happen when you start to develop your photographic eye. What does that mean? When you're looking at something like, piece of art, beautiful soul, that kind of thing. The elements in foreground, background, whatever is happening with these beautiful eyes that you're seeing, you are learning to appreciate the world around you. So when you photograph the world around you, every click of that camera has meaning to it. Today, when we shoot 30 to 120 frames per second, there's no meaning to any damn thing. Yeah, unless you're shooting freaking, kingfishers all day long for a living, and someone's paying you to get that shot, great. Other than that, save this artistic bullshit with all of these fast mirrorless cameras. There is none. You can't. It's not possible. You're doing spray and pray. You're just hoping some shit sticks somewhere, so, you can get some salvation of spending all this $5,000 or $10,000 on this little computer screen that you bought inside of your camera. That's telling you what it is, and the camera is doing all the work. You're not doing any work. The camera couldn't do this. I don't care how good your mirrorless camera is, you can't do this. You gotta go there at midnight, you gotta go get a flash, and then you gotta shoot it, and you gotta do it. It is what it is. That technology could not solve the problem of capturing this beautiful moment. It is what it is. That's what I mean. Do you have the photographic eye ahead of time, the vision? Today, people don't have that. But when you talk to them about it, it sounds like a bunch of gibberish. So what do? They steal the content of my videos and they get faceless channels where they have no guts, absolutely no guts to show their faces, but they have every gut to steal all of my content about DSLRs. They probably have never shot one and or owned not even one DSLR in their life, just to get views. So those are the kinds of people that we're following. So that was the 135. Now I am going to show you something that I shot with a lens that a lot of you hold on. All right. So let's talk about it. So now we put on a pretty interesting lens onto the body of the camera. And I'm going to show you what you get out of that. All right. This is a 180 3.5 L macro lens. So the 5D Classic 180 3.5 macro. What are you going to be able to shoot with that? What the hell is that? Crazy, right? Oh no. Let's take a look at the photo. And you get that. The 5D Classic was known for its pastel colors, and it does a pretty damn good job. This was shot around fall. Just little things sticking up, but it's all about perspective. So if you have the right lens, you have the photographic eye, you can produce something like this that you can hang. Otherwise, it's just something that would have probably blown away with the wind. And game over. You would have never realized what to do with it. So, the photographic eye, it's real. Lens choices, it's real. But do you understand how to use these lenses to produce things like this? And guess what? There's only one thing common in all of these. The 5D Classic. Coming back to the final shot of this video, we're going to do a lens that some of you will probably cringe, but you'll be shocked. I have shot some of the most iconic photos that I have shot that many people have bought, used, whatever. And that is the infamous 50 1.4 with a micro motor that goes bad over time. Mine didn't. I bought a gray market one from B&H little after the 5D Classic, so it's probably like about 17 years. Yeah, probably about 17 years old. Works flawless. I'll just show you one. One of the other ones that you guys have seen of my wife, the really big one, that shot on the 5D Classic with the 50 1.4. So is this. Any questions? I didn't think so. So here it is. You can see it up close. So, what's the moral of the story? Buy the camera. But more than that, buy the right lenses and learn to use them and create your photographic eye. Because if you never learn how to use those lenses to their fullest, you're wasting your money. And you don't need the most expensive lens on the planet. You just need a good enough one. Because everything is good enough nowadays, right? I heard recently that shoot everything at f11, everything's going to be beautiful. No, it's not. No, it's not. If you're doing that just to get exposure between f11 and f16 using the Sony 16 rule, great. But if you're doing that for depth of field and all different kind of things, no, it's not. Because there are certain factors that change that or break that concept or mindset, which makes it a myth. So, more to come on that. If you're interested, you want me to make a video on that and teach you guys that, fine. But as we sit here, this camera has become a classic for a very good reason. The image quality is unmatched by anything, including the Nikon D700. The Nikon D700 is a great camera. It's not a 5D Classic. It is not by any means. I've used it, tried them. They're great cameras. They're not the same. Yes, it can do some more things, but what it yields as an actual photograph is insane. And when you print, you can see what it does. Proof's in the pudding. So, I don't want to talk about it. I'd rather just print it for you and show you the entire photographic journey from capturing to processing to printing. If you're not doing that entire thing, I don't know, you need to kind of rethink sort of what you're doing in photography. But nonetheless, to each its own. Like, subscribe, be nice to each other, go out there, create your magic, and everything in this video is my experience. You need to go and actually create your experiences. Don't relive my experiences. Create your own. I'm super excited to see what you come up with. With that, again, I'll see you in the next one. But more than that, just pick up a camera. I don't care what it is. Just go produce something. And I'll talk to you in the next one. Thank you.